Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Rockin' Beards podcast, where we, the non-professional people, sit here and discuss albums we listen to, in many cases without a lot of time ahead of time, and we just give our impressions song by song and go through them. And that's what we do. For those of you who are new, you can check in the description as video the itinerary of everything. And before we begin, I want to give some love to our patrons, Mozart, Lindell Williams, and Super Old School 1994, because they're fucking awesome, and we'll talk a bit about that at the end. And before we jump into some shit, it's time for our favorite comment on last week's video, where we talked about what the fuck? Holy shit! I keep blanking.
We talked about
Blink-182's "Take Off Your Pants and Jack." Yeah, that one. It's fucking great. I think that's what we did. If we didn't, my bad. But it says my child. It was something similar to that.
It was the Offspring's Americana. That's what we talked about last week. Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
we got this. We're on this.
See how professional we are.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Shit.
Sean 2K11 said, my childhood album, listen to this nonstop. And I related to that comment. There were some more insightful ones maybe out there, but I saw that comment and I'm like, you know what? That is exactly the type of fucking shit that I remember playing that shit day in and day out when I had that disc. And so that comment hit me in the feels.
Thank you for giving us that validation.
Awesome. I mean, it's a great album. If you haven't heard Americana, you should listen to Americana. But we're not here to talk about the Offspring. We're not even here to talk about punk music or pop punk or however you want to classify them. We're here to talk about something completely left field from that genre, just in case you were curious.
Why don't you do a little mainstream prog rock?
Why don't you just
get into that weird shit a little bit?
So, what album are we talking about?
Today we're talking about Muse's Black Holes and Revelations.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, our hopes and expectations.
You really like that line, eh?
I really do. Just because it's like, all right, so I don't know a lot of Muse, but in 2006, I had a car. And when you have a car and you play the radio, certain songs just kind of get your attention a little bit more than others.
Pretty all over the radio when this record came out.
Yeah, there was a second one as well, Knights of Cydonia, that was also there. But
Supermassive Black Hole was...
I did not hear it.
Big on the radio, too.
Because I was listening to our local 99.9 The Buzz, the alternative rock, so they didn't necessarily play all of it.
Supermassive Black Hole might have been more on
other
one
ones.
version.
Because, I heard, they definitely had the
Starlight.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I keep thinking of other endings of the word star there. But, and, I never really learned the words, because, let's be real, if you're not really focusing, his voice blends really well with the music. So it's like the words aren't necessarily important. So this was always one of those ones that I would along to instead of singing.
Super showman at
all
times in every song.
I didn't even know this song was on the album, and then I heard it, and then I learned what the words were. So now that I know what the words are, it's like I can meet our hopes and expectations through Black Holes and Revelations. I was like, that's the album title. I just literally said that out loud. I had that moment. I mean, it was pretty that's one of the funner parts I think I've had about some of these albums where I'm not that familiar with it. It's just oh fuck, that's what he's saying this whole time. I've had that moment countless times since we've started this whole endeavor. But yeah, so outside of that, I remember Uprising, which was sang by that guy on American Idol who did it a whole pitch above the Muse guy, and it was Big News Bears because we were watching that back in the day. I don't remember with who.
Is that Adam Lambert?
No, it was some guy, and I believe he had some sort of disorder or something.
Okay.
And he got challenged by the Muse guy to do it a whole octave above, and he did it. And it was that impressive. And he ended up, he came third that season, but he was my guy at that point because he was cool. He kept doing rock and stuff as opposed to the shitty pop that was often on those shows. No offense to it. It's just not as fun for me to watch often the song choices.
That song is not on this record.
No, it's not. But
it's on the next record.
That is the end of my entire experience with Muse to this point. Before
really?
Those 3 songs. That's
How
why
have you avoided Muse. But they wrote the song for the 2000
something.
One of the Olympics. They wrote the song.
That's how I don't give 2 craps about that.
It was everywhere. Survival.
maybe.
Madness? Mad, mad, mad.
Oh, I've heard that. I didn't
Okay.
know it was a
Like,
Muse song. I didn't
There's
know.
no way you've avoided Muse to the
But
level you think you've avoided Muse.
I guess you could say my level of like registering
Fair
it.
enough. Fair enough.
Like, I mean, you could play me 1,000 songs and put the name to it, and I'd be like, oh, a whole bunch of times. That's what happened with Starlight. That's how we started this conversation.
It's funny because I think once you hear the songs that like you would have recognized, you'd be like, of course that's Muse. How could it not be?
I mean, now that I've listened to a whole album a few times, because I realized it's not something you can listen to once. You kind of need to give it like 3-4 spins if you are going to appreciate any of the nuances of this project, because it's kind of like each song. Anyway, we can get into the specific songs, but the quick version is each song kind of changes a lot, so you don't really realize why the beginning might be cool until your third listen, when you've started to really map out how the songs change, so you can kind of get excited for shit and whatever. And then at that point, I was like, because if I had just done this like one listen, like the day of or whatever, I'd fucking done. I'd just get destroyed by these fans watching. But like, I really like, I'd say that the one thing I can say about this album right now is it made me want to listen to, it made me realize the importance of listening to this kind of music multiple times.
Yeah, well, that's prog, right? Like you have to sit with it. My experience with Muse specifically has always been,
go ahead.
I love this band for like 2 or 3 songs, and then I get so tired and so sick of them that like I can't listen to them again for another like several days. Because to me, they're the kind of band that like I love what they do, but at the same time I cringe at what they do.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like they're so over the top sometimes that it's just like, okay, calm the fuck down. And I've seen this band live. Like I love Muse, but at the same time I'm always so sick of Muse. You know what I mean? Like,
I have a vague idea what's going on. They're like one of those bands that you want in small doses.
yeah, exactly.
They're kind of like the toxic effects of magic mushrooms. You can do it a little bit, but then if you keep doing it, your tolerance builds up so quickly, so you need to take a break and then let it. That's facts, guys. You can Google that shit.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and the thing is that they're not as nuanced as a lot of prog bands. Like, most of what they do like really is on the surface comparatively, but it's so in your face on the surface that it's like,
I mean, we'll I guess get into those details as we go, but I know I talked a lot and then I cut Sydney off. Okay, I'm self-aware. So let's talk about just the album cover if you want.
Sure.
From what I read on the internet from a snippet of one of them talking about this cover, it was inspired by the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and they wanted to do some twist on that. And that's the 4 of, I think
can you show me the cover real quick?
I don't know who those guys are. I didn't really look too deep into it.
Sitting at a table.
And they're in like the desert, and I think
want to
it's
say they're on
supposed.
the Mars desert. I think it's supposed to be Mars. It's red.
Yes, there is something about that referenced in the album somewhere. Where,
because Cydonia is a place on Mars.
Where the life existed once upon a time, and that I tried to remember this all. And so I think that they're also trying to represent like the world leaders planning damnation of everyone else, and because there's a definite dislike of world leaders,
which is something that runs through most of their records.
And it's definitely, I don't know, it's a cool album cover. It's one that I don't think I would like notice on a first glance, but now that I've actually paid attention to it, I will always be able to identify it.
Yeah,
because of the specific choice of colors that they used was really smart, because it looks like what everyone else's beach shot looks like, but because it's on Mars and it's got that red to it, it really stands out. Yeah. So that's like just stylistically really interesting to me.
I mean, Muse, what they do one thing they do very, very well is they have the whole presentation down pat, right? Like their live shows are always, they put all the money into it, and they've always got like a bunch of screens and a bunch of crazy props, and like, we are Muse, you are here to see a show, you know what I mean? And it's the same thing on their records, like you are here to hear a performance. Like this isn't just songs, it's a package. So you have the visual and you have the crazy title and you have like everything goes together.
And if I'm not mistaken, this album in particular is unique in the sense that it was the first one that they got more involved in the production and weren't just kind of like a standoffish. If I read correctly on the internet, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Always feel free to correct us if you're wrong.
Another thing that's notable about this record is that the one that came before it, Absolution, was a very somber record. Okay. It was very intense, very melancholy, and so they purposely tried to make this one more upbeat and more concise.
Okay.
which I think works very well. I really do like this record. I'd say this is my favorite Muse record.
So what you're saying is, it's almost like Muse makes you want to take a bow. I didn't even know what to expect with this song. I started listening to it. I'm like, so I found out a little bit that this isn't partly showing their love of science fiction. I love science fiction. I felt that in this song.
Yeah,
right?
Especially the end there where it's
I could say that I would never have gone out of my way to listen to this in my life, this sound. But now that I've heard this sound, it's like, it's fucking weird and interesting, right? I'm not saying it's the greatest thing I've ever heard, but I was like, this is distinct.
Yeah.
And I have to give them credit because, I mean, if I understand correctly, there's 3 dudes.
Yeah.
One of them plays guitar and piano.
Yes.
One of them plays like the bass and something else.
One of them plays the bass and sings sometimes.
Then there's the
sparingly,
drummer.
And there's the drummer.
So the fact that all of this is from these dudes plus some production and shit, and I mean they do some interesting stuff with production, but fundamentally it's from 3 dudes.
Yeah.
Blue. That's just. I'm like, I mean, I know I've been talking a whole bunch, but I had to get that out. It's like, what did I just? It feels like a movie.
Yeah.
It feels like this cinematic experience, like you were describing with their live show, and lyrically. Okay, like this is the fanciest song about political leaders going to burn in hell that I've like ever fucking heard, right? Like this could be like "And We Hate Pow Pow" from like a Kendrick album, but it's a little bit more glossy.
Yeah.
But not necessarily so lyrically, because like corrupt, you corrupt. You're like, that is not the first lines I was expecting to this music, right? Like, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing.
Is that the first line?
Corrupt, you corrupt and bring corruption to all you touch. Hold, you'll be holden. And my favorite part, beholden. That's right. Beholden is the best word in English, in my opinion. For all that you've done.
Holden. Be like Holden.
And you should be beholden to be like Holden. Anyway. And spell, cast a spell on the country you run, and you will risk all their lives and their souls. And burn, you will burn in hell. Yeah, you'll burn in hell. You'll burn in hell. Yeah, you'll burn in hell for your sins. Like, I have to take my hat off to the tenacity of the lyrics that they put on top. And the way they're singing it is like, nice, nicety, nice, epic and grand.
Yeah.
I was like,
and that,
go on.
That's the thing, right? Like that's the conflict I have. Is first off, let me preface this. I love this song. Like I love this opener. It's such a good opener for the album. Like it builds so well, and it gets so strong, and you really hear a little piece of everything that Muse does. Like yeah, there's the glossiness, but there's that rock and roll edge, right? The riff comes in like bow,
yeah,
bow,
and like
it's
almost
super
like you
distorted.
You just like picture him saying keyboard's done, guitar time. I don't
but
know.
The keyboard is still going, right?
I know,
like,
I know.
It's just layers on layers on layers on layers, and he's doing that super. Spell, you will spell, like super theatrical singing, and like that, and the lyrics are really. But the thing is, I feel like the message tends to get drowned in it. You know what I mean?
But I can almost appreciate what he's doing, right?
I get it, and this is what they like. They're very very good at what they do, but you.
And I mean, but there's a place, there's a spot, and it needs to be filled. And if Muse is going to do it this well, kudos.
Yeah.
Because, like, maybe most of the people who make music that sound like this aren't approaching subject matter that is quite like this. I might be wrong. I don't know fuck all about the genre, really. But I know that, from what I've heard, it's a little more over the top and a little less direct.
Yes.
And the fact that it's blunt and direct like a punk song is fucking cool.
That's fair. I can't fault them for that. I mean, I can't fault them for the songs. I love this song. Like as an intro and as the way the album starts, this is a 5 for me for sure. I can listen to this song alone.
And then there's So sorry, go on.
Go ahead.
And then it's just like, even from a songwriting perspective, right? Like the second little stanza is and spell, cast a spell. The last one is a hex, feed the hex on the country you love, and beg, you will beg for their lives and their souls. So in the first tone, when he's talking about a spell, and then it's really not a spell, it's a hex, a curse, a negative thing. And it's just showing the nuanced way of how politicians spin their shit on you. That is pretty good. You know, like when you really stop and think about it, you're like, okay, they don't say a lot, but with what they do say, they paint pictures.
Yeah.
Now, like, the sound is a little bit weird for me, and take that into account with my grades. I'm not saying it's bad. I get it as a 4.1. It's a very cool song. Not my favorite on the project per se, but like, I also, there are definitely is a time and a place for me to want to listen to this. And I don't often say that when I'm in this grade range. It's just, this is really new for me. And I really enjoyed it, but I think if I listen to it 5-6 more times, my grade will just go up. Like, I was tempted to even spike my grade a bit here, but I stayed true to form. But like, maybe it's even a 4.25, you know? Like, because it's fucking cool. Like, it's cool. I just don't know how much I like it.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, anyway.
Starlight?
No, you didn't even give your grade yet.
I did. I gave it a 5.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't listening. Let's talk about Starlight.
Yeah.
Syd, you go first this time.
And same thing, right? Like, it starts off so cheesy and so happy. And far away. Like, they're taking me far away.
This ship, as in spaceship.
Yeah, like,
awesome.
so ridiculous.
So fun.
So over the top. But then the fucking chorus kicks in. I'll never let you go if you promise not to.
I thought the chorus was the hold you in my arms part.
Whatever, the refrain, whatever you want to call it.
Because there's a lot of little pieces strung together here.
Yeah,
they're not very clear.
It's a very well put together song, and again, it does the same thing. It's got that poppiness, it's got that glossiness, but it's got that grit, and it's got all the hooks, and it's got actual emotion, which is something you don't expect from something this cheesy.
The last line, when it's just like his voice, and
he's wanted to
he's flossing. That is the best like falsetto floss I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, but it's very show offy. But at the same time, it works because they're showing off and they can do it.
It's like when Tech 9 shows off, you know?
And right away, like, this is a very, not necessarily a very different Muse, but a much more concise Muse from what we've had on records before this. Like, if you're a fan of Muse and you've listened to Origin of Symmetry and you listen to
the other one.
Help me.
I don't know. The other one. Okay, we got it. You know which one it is. Oh, now it's just dragging on.
Oh, it's going to hurt me, though.
They're staring at us.
It's going to hurt me. What is it called? I know the name of this goddamn record. Absolution.
That's the one.
Fucking hell.
You even mentioned it earlier in the podcast.
Go on. Anyway, you know what I mean, right? Like, those songs are long and drawn out, but this is tight and concise and just so much happier. And there's so much more hope on this song than there's generally been in their sound before, which is fun. It's cool. This is another 5 for me.
It's not a 5 for me. It's a 4.6.
Okay.
I really do like this song. I mean, this one has a bit of a nostalgia factor. Like, I had a Lincoln Town car, and I was fucking enjoying the experiences that came with driving around in a badass car at 19 years old. So, like...
And it's a Lincoln Town car.
Which, it really, like, it might not matter as much what you look like when you drive a Lincoln Town car at 19 years old, and I'll leave it at that.
They're fucking cool cars.
I had a great run in Cégep, we'll say. Cégep is our college. I feel like I have to say that just in case you're new here. We're in Quebec where we have Cégep. Google that shit.
You have to say it every time.
But
just so he knows.
So like, it kind of just brings me back to like this kind of nice time when I was cruising around in the best car I've ever owned.
Yeah.
And anyway, I mean, lyrically, it's kind of fun though. Like, far away, the ship is taking me far away from the memories of the people who care if I live or die. And that like just feeling. It almost sounds like you get a little bit high and float away. It almost sounds like pick your escapism and float away. It's all of those things. Like Starlight, I will be chasing a starlight until the end of my life. I don't know if it's worth it anymore. I chasing dreams. I'm 30. That's one of the most relatable lines I ever damn heard in my entire life. You know, like technically you're chasing starlights and shit when you're out there trying to like push your shit. Plus, it just makes me picture Star Trek the whole time. So that's fucking great.
See that.
So hold you in my arms. I just wanted to hold you in my arms. All of a sudden, I'm like, what the fuck is that hook? I don't understand how it fits into the context. Please, no, I'm serious. This is a legitimate. Sorry, I bumped that. Please, like, let me know what that fuck, how that fits into this, because I was very confused by that. I'll never let you go if you promise not to fade away, never fade away. Again, I kind of get how that fits into the granular scheme of, like, chasing and, you know, whatever, isolations and whatnot. I kind of understand it. I don't need to 100% to like the song, though. And then my favorite part, our hopes and expectations, black holes and revelations.
Roll credits.
Because, like, for real, like, that kind of, those words, I mean, it sounds like whatever. It's more than just my epiphany of what he's saying. It's like, sometimes it feels like every choice I make as I pursue, like, we make these podcasts, is this the right use of our time? Is this really the right thing? Should I sell out? Should I do all these different things in my life? And when I say sell out, I mean compromise my integrity for the pursuit of profit, because I know that thing will make me money. That's what I take from sellout. And our hopes and expectations, are they black holes and revelations? You know, like, what are they? You know, like, it just got my brain kind of like fucking running around, and that's cool. And then the ship is taking me far away from the memories of people who care if I live or die. And it's like, you almost wonder, like even now where I'm at today, considering where I was 10 years ago, I'm in a different social class than I was 10 years ago. I'm already light years ahead, and I already feel that kind of gap that there exists between that kind of rift that comes as you try to rise up. And I think this is a super honest and interesting, like, introspective track. So it was cool, but it's super fucking poppy. And
but it is. But again, it's got that edge, right? Like,
I like it. That's why it's like I gave it a 4.6. I went. Yeah. It's a little bit more than a normal 4.5. It is, but it's also not like an everyday all the time type thing.
And it's interesting that you say that, because again, I think for a lot of Muse fans, this is where they started to like leave behind that core sound and really move into that like ridiculous, over the top pop rock arena, if you will. You know what I mean? Like on their first few records, they were really, really they were a rock band. Like, they had their hooks and they had their cheesy moments, but first and foremost, it was about the rock. And now it's about like the production and the glossiness and the hooks. But at the same time, like, I think it works for them because they've clearly always wanted to do this, right? Like, they've wanted to be an over the top, ridiculous theatrical band, and now they're in a place where they can do it for the first time the way they want to do it.
That's fair.
So Supermassive Black Hole.
That's next, yes. I can say if this was a single and it was all over the radio, no idea.
That's amazing to me.
Like,
yeah, this was absolutely everywhere. You've probably never seen Twilight?
No. I know. I read all about how it's in a weird, out of place scene that it shouldn't be in.
It is the best part of the movie.
Is it because of the song?
It's because of the song. I hated that movie. But they're like playing baseball with vampires. It's the stupidest thing. But whatever. The fucking vampires are jumping all over the place. It doesn't make any sense, and it really breaks up the movie, which is already bad. But the song is playing, and they're jumping all over the place. And it's the most action-packed scene in the entire movie, which is sad when you talk about a fucking vampire movie. But it's great.
I don't
know.
It's
fucking great. It's like the opening, the opening scene in Baby Driver? The opening, like, 15 minutes?
No.
Anyway, fucking Muse. Love this song.
Twilight wasn't written for me.
Not for me either.
Yeah. So what did you give this song?
Oh, this is a 5. This is a fucking 5.
I'm getting the feeling you really love this record. Okay, we'll get there.
Hang on, because what I said before still stands. Now, I love this song because of the groove, plain and simple.
Okay.
Like, the groove on this song is so infectious.
It is
the kind of thing that you can throw on at a house party, at a club, at a rock concert, pretty much anywhere. People can get into it. It's like that creepy falsetto all the way through the verses. Those beautiful harmonies. Ice is melting in the dead of night.
I gotta give him credit just there that, let's say, from a diversity perspective, this is a refreshing break.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the first two songs are similar-ish. This is just like, hey, we also do this.
This is very different from the first two songs.
And on that front, very cool because it makes it like kind of interesting. But like lyrically, this one is kind of comparing this woman as an emotional, supermassive black hole. Is kind of how I took it. Like, oh baby, don't you know I suffer? Oh baby, can't you hear me moan? You caught me under false pretenses. How long before you let me go? No, I'm not gonna lie. I'm maybe jacking this a bit from what I read in Genius annotations, but like it makes sense.
I mean, it's about lust, right?
But it's also like about like how you meet this person, and they kind of end up being like this consumption of your time and energy. But based on like the false representation of who they were initially when you meet them, compared against what they become after a significant period of time has passed, and you find out, oh no, you're a succubus, and I wasn't expecting that.
I guess, but it's all perception, right? And that's what I get from this. Like I saw you one way, and now I see you another way, and it's like I had these rose-colored glasses on.
I think we're saying the same thing, but
yeah, but it's
mine was just longer and more specific.
Fair, fine.
Because, yeah, it was about the perception changing after time and being duped. So at that point, yes.
But I don't see it as being duped. I just see it as like...
Well, because you caught me under false pretenses. So, I mean, that specific lyric to me kind of sounds like he was duped by her initial person and thinking she was one thing.
Fair enough.
And I'm assuming it's a she. This is 2018. We should maybe not assume. I don't know. Anyway. You set my soul all right. I get that, because even when you're in that crazy fucked up like relationship type thing, and you find it comforting when you do date that person, it's so weirdly and oddly comforting to be tortured, and it's fucked up. And then the weird glaciers melting in the dead of night and the superstars sucked into the supermassive. I don't know if that was some blowjob shit.
I don't know.
I kind of pictured that.
Ridiculous.
But like, it is also an oddly specific series of events that happens in space, because a supermassive black hole is the biggest kind of black hole that can be. So it would suck the other stuff into it, because that's how black holes work, as I understand them. I don't know. It was a weird one. I thought I was a fool for you, but oh baby, I'm a fool for you. Or the queen is superficial. And how
I thought
long
I was a
before
fool for no one, but ooh baby, I'm a fool for you.
Oh, I said that wrong.
And
then you're the queen of the superficial. How long before you tell the truth? I mean, I like how he delivers every line in this song. I like the overall feel of it. It's a little vague, so I give it a 4.25. It's a great groove. It's just not quite as...
Groove. It's a timeless groove.
I wouldn't go that far.
Oh my god.
But it's pretty good. It's pretty nice.
Groove. And it's like, this is the kind of groove that like producers dream of, you know what I mean? Like DJs dream of producing this groove, but this is done straight with rock instruments. Like this is, for people who say rock is dead, like this is your proof that it's just evolving. I know this record came out 10 years ago, okay? But still.
But that's when people were saying rock is dead too.
People are always saying rock is dead. But
and yet, I mean, it's not really on the charts as much these days, but to call it dead is ridiculous.
To call it dead is ridiculous, A. And when shit like this is still happening, which it is, okay, there's still bands that are innovating like this, that are still taking that rock sound and mixing it and melding it with all kinds of other... Because rock is the bass, right? It's the flower. It's the fucking...
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I get it. Yes, we get it.
And then you toss in a little hip hop, and you toss in a little EDM, and you toss in a little dance, and you get modern music, and that's fucking beautiful to me. And that's what this song represents. I love that.
Funny.
And that's why this song is a 5. And also it's catchy as fuck and hooky as fuck and groovy as fuck.
That's fine.
And the guitar playing on this song does not get enough credit because it's great.
And that's why we have the map of the Problematique.
So what did I do? I gave 5s to the first 3 songs.
You did give 5s to the first 3 songs.
So I'm going to drop this one down to like a 2.8.
That's low. I don't think you've given a song grade that low in ages.
Yeah, it's been a minute. And this is my problem with Muse. Like the first time, or the first like 9 times I heard this record, I got to this song and I turned it off. I just straight up can't listen to this song. It's so boring and so fucking melodramatic and over the top, and like, it's the strings. It's just...
I liked it more than that.
That's fine. I just don't care about this song at all. There's nothing in this song that captures me. Like, it's so overproduced and so sugary and so... for no reason. Like, there's no reason for this song to be this sugary. Because, like, the rhythm could be cool, but then there's the fucking string hits. Like, why are they there? They're just there to be theatrical and over the top. That's all they're there for. They serve no purpose.
Wasn't this a single, too?
What? I don't think this was a single.
I think it was. I think it was the 5th single off the album. Yeah, there were 5 singles on the album.
Maybe. I don't remember any sort of video for this.
We're also in Canada, and at that time, shit was a little more divided in terms of how much we would see based off of what was performing.
That's fair.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it comes in and musically it's fine. It does the thing that I'm going to call the Muse thing, where it sounds like a lot of stuff's happening and it kind of has that same kind of groove that, not like the groove like on the last track groove, but like the groove of the first 2 songs. So you can kind of like really mesh as well in that style. And I don't really mind the strings or whatever. For me, it just kind of felt like this super big sonic experience. And I suppose that's the point of what they do. And so, like, I don't really hate it. If that's how they're going to get their message across, kudos. That's how I kind of came off. I mean, this one is a 4.5. I actually like it. I think it's not, like, the greatest song I've ever heard, but, like, it's kind of got this feel to it where, like, again, it feels like Star Trek space battles are playing out of my fucking mind, maybe. Maybe it's a little bit my imagination running away with myself, but that's kind of a cool thing to me. Like fear and panic in the air, I want to be free from desolation and despair, and I feel like everything I sow is being swept away. Will I refuse to let you go? I don't have a lot of insightful commentary on these lyrics. I mean, it's pretty open-ended, and it could be about a girl, it could be about the government, it could be about addictions. I mean, you could probably correct me and tell me exactly what the song's about. That's cool. I'm certain that there are specifics there, but I don't take anything from that first verse. I can't get it right since I met you. Loneliness be over. When will this loneliness be over? Now I'm thinking it's a little bit more about a girl.
It's just so whiny.
But like I relate to that whininess. That I understood. That little bit there, like lyrically, I've felt those things and I've been that whiny. So I guess like around 2006, I was most definitely that whiny because I was like 19 and my parents were going through divorces and my life was a giant emo clusterfuck.
But this isn't presented in the way that emo does it, you know what I mean? And it's funny because that's like everyone hates on the way emo does it.
But like the album brings me back to that place a little bit just because of the singles. And so if I kind of picture myself in that mindset and consider these lyrics today, yeah, I'm okay with that. Like, I don't hate it. I mean, I can't hate a band for being whiny while sounding glossy. Like, why can't the glossy guys whine too? You know, like, it's not like every song to me came off whiny. This one was a little bit whinier. I'm fine with it. Like the first one.
Not every song is whiny. Absolutely not.
And that's why I'm completely okay with it. It's like a wide array of different emotional states Buddy's putting out.
Yeah, I just feel like this one is just...
You are allowed to feel that way.
Lower energy, lower quality, lower...
Like, life will flash before my eyes, so scattered and lost, I want to touch the other side, and no one thinks they are to blame. Why can't we see when we bleed the same? Like, it's so, like, saying the right things to say the right things.
But it's so cookie cutter. Like, it's just so...
And I'm like, that's why it's not a 5 to me.
Yeah.
I feel like with better lyrics, in my opinion... and with a more concise message. Like, that first song lyrically blew me out the water. It was so punk rock. It was so fucking in your face and awesome. And I feel like we've gone in a bit of a vaguer direction on this project so far. And that's okay. But I'm a little less interested in the vaguity. And ironically, I like this one sonically more. Like the way it sounds. Because I gave it a higher mark than the first one. Which is fucking... Sometimes you just can't necessarily... Like, it just... All the shit I say... It's just my interpretations. Sometimes you just like a song more, even if it's illogical. All right.
Yeah, sometimes the music is just better. Like
that's it. So let's I guess talk about.
We're here to review music.
Talk about the Soldier's Poem.
Yeah.
Hey, like I said, completely left field. I was like, this one's 2 minutes. That's gonna go in a few different directions. Not the one I was expecting in the least. I figured like some quasi interlude skit thing, and I guess it is, but no, not like this with the soft guitar-y, not even sounding like it was on this album sound.
I don't know. I love this track. Like I smile every time I hear it. It makes me so happy. And the thing about this too is like if you've ever been in a band, like you know that the drummer or the guitarist, someone in your band is always going, I can't turn down, man. The instrument is just loud. Just play them this song. Tell them to shut the fuck up. Like, this is how you turn down. and still sound good. The song is so understated and so minimal, but there's these beautiful harmonies, and it's so happy and so fluffy, but at the same time, there's no justice in the world, and there never was. And it's called Soldier's Poem, and you just picture this soldier going, fuck it.
No, but I mean, it's brilliant in terms of lyrics. I do not enjoy the sound of this song as much as the other ones on the album.
I love it. I love it.
I like what it is. So keep in mind, objectively, I admire the fact that they took it from, especially because at the time, Tony Blair and Mr. Bush were doing their thing. So throw it all away. Let's lose ourselves because there's no one left for us to blame. It's a shame we're all dying. Do you think you deserve your freedom? How could you send us so far away from home? And when you know damn well that this is wrong, I will still down my life for you. And do you think you deserve your freedom? No, I don't think you do. There's no justice in the world. There's no justice in the world, and there never was. And it's interesting.
All the time it's these like super major arpeggiated guitar chords, like classical playing, and just like really simple like Ringo Starr style drumming.
But like that's it. The juxtaposition of style and what content is being there is amazing. And I think that's what I find is like admirable about this. And even then, it starts off in kind of like a Joy and Uncle Sam, like, you know, throw it all away. Let's lose ourselves. You know, like, let's go fight for the cause and be there because it's almost like you've been brainwashed into doing these things. So you sign up and you get there. And when you're there, it's, you know, you kind of like, you realize that they're looking for people to blame, especially with the reasons for those wars back then. Yeah. And all these people are dying, and it's awful. And the soldiers' like realization of, oh fuck, this is what I signed up for, but now I'm gonna do it anyway because what am I supposed to do, you know? And then at the end of the day, he just feels trapped, knowing what he's doing is wrong, and you know, it almost feels like he snaps and goes a little bit crazy as he's so happy at the end, just realizing how fucked up everything is. All of that is amazing from an artistic point of view, and it's really admirable and really cool. I give it a 3.75 because to me this is one I would never listen to again based on style, not because the content isn't great. So you know what I mean? Just take that into consideration, Muse fans. I just think the sound is very not my cup of tea while being fucking amazing for what it is.
I mean, it's a 4.2 for me. Again, I agree it's not something I listen to every day, but I like it a lot more than the last one. I can tell you that.
I don't.
It's just so much simpler and so much more to the point, and like, and I like a nice little major ballad. You know what I mean? And like, I love the way that the melodies just blend so well on this one. But at the same time, like you can hear everything he's saying, even though he's singing very quietly, and it's almost serene. Like it just makes you want to relax while he's telling you that there's no justice in the world and there never was. Like it's
cool.
I love that.
I don't know. Let's talk about Invincible. Bit of a snooze fest on this one. A little bit, in my opinion. Until
it gets to the middle part.
Yeah.
Which is so great. But yes, I agree with you.
And it's their longer songs. Like I don't know.
The first 2.5 minutes of this song.
So it's a 5-minute song.
Super cheesy and super boring. But then it gets to the fucking middle section. It's just full of riffs and solos and craziness, and then it outros, and the outro is super climactic and epic, and like you don't. It sounds almost impossible that they can come back to the chorus like after they've done this crazy minor riff, but they do, which is great, and I love that. And this song is like a 3.8.
So I gave it a 4.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Again, I don't really think this song is for me. It's one of those sappy, and I feel like the way they approach this one is a little sappy, like follow
Until
through.
It gets to the middle section.
No, I'm talking about like lyrically. Like, 'cause for me, the lyrics are always. I'm a lot more driven by the lyrics and what is being said in a song because I'm a lyricist. So it to me is my first thing that I care, and then I like the sound and the package. But to me, this is like half of it's okay, half of it's like and then it's like. At the end of the day, I just cannot imagine myself going out of my way to see this. On the other hand, I would love to see this performed live, right? So I feel like in that context, it would be lovely. But in my headphones, it doesn't fit into what I would want to go listen to on a normal day. And that's why sonically it's at a 4. Like lyrically, like follow through, make your dreams come true. Don't give up the fight. You will be all right because there's no one like you in the universe. Don't be afraid of what your mind conceives. Like,
and this is when I say like, they're very Queen in their mindset.
This just sounds like a bit of a self-help book, and it's great messaging.
That's it, right? Like Queen did it a lot more. First off, a lot more left field, a lot weirder, but also I think a lot more honestly. And this feels very much like
It's just
by the
so
numbers, just kind of, you can do it.
And, you should make a stand up for what you believe in. Tonight we can truly say together we're invincible.
Yeah, and it's like, all
Like,
right.
what are you actually saying there is what I'm kind of feeling. I'm like, so follow through and make your dreams come true. I'm trying that, dude. Like, I mean, I don't really feel proud that it's only at 1,163 subscribers at the time of recording this video. I mean, to me, that's not a great number. Please subscribe. It would be awesome.
Oh, my God.
But like,
shameless self-promotion.
I'm a little bit desperate these days because honestly, I've been trying to make my dreams come true. I've been trying not to give up the fight. You tell me I'm going to be all right, but like when, dog? It could take years, like from my point of view, because there's no one like you in the universe. Fuck that. There's a bunch of people that look like me, a bunch of people that act like me. I get compared to fuckers all the time. I know there's a lot of folk like me, which makes it kind of hard to be unique. That's just facts.
That's it, right? They're more about the theater than they are about...
Yeah, like, don't be afraid of what your mind conceives. I'm with you. You got me on that one. I agree. You got to dream it to believe it. Nah, shit. I'm with you. You should make a stand up for what you believe. I mean, yes, with some tact. Don't just blindly do that. It's not always wise. And tonight we can truly say together we're invincible. That just sounds like a line for the song for like when you're live so everyone can be in unity for like a quick minute. That's a bit cheap.
It sells.
But it's cheap.
I know.
And I expect a little bit more from them based on what I've heard on this record, I guess. And please don't be too critical of me on this. This is a game. Like, I've listened to this for like a week of my life. Maybe I'll change my mind over time.
I think you're right. And I think a lot of people will probably agree with you. Like that's...
And like, during the struggle, they will pull us down. But please, let's use this chance to turn things around. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what? Am I standing up for what I believe in? And then... obviously, people are going to necessarily dislike that, but please, let's use this chance to turn things around. How? Like, what do you want to, like, just with the power of will? Like, am I supposed to just, the world will be a better place now? Like, I don't understand the direction of this song, right? Do it on your own. It makes no difference to me what you leave behind and choose to be. Fuck that. You can't do shit on your own. You need a team. That's just facts of life. You can do very little on your own. That's not even good advice. And whatever they say, your soul's unbreakable. So the drums are super marchy. The music is otherwise gloomy. I guess it shows the beat is struggle and it kind of ends triumphant. It's just like...
it's the middle part.
Look, man. When you're going to approach this kind of subject matter, I think it's kind of, and maybe I'm just being an elitist snob here with my like desires, but like I feel like if you're going to actually try to make a song about believing in yourself and shit, you shouldn't lace it with false narratives of ambiguous nothings. It should be like a real thing. And this is not a real thing. This song is just false hope.
No, it's super cheesy.
But it's false hope. It's almost detrimental is how I see this kind of messaging. So I don't really like this kind of song. But it's still well made and all the things you said about, well, it flips around with the minor key. I don't know how to describe it, but it does that kind of stuff when it ends triumphant. That's what I... Anyway, they're going to assassinate me in the comments. I'm going to call this one Mini Knights of Cydonia. I know maybe you don't like that. I'm sorry, but like when I hear this, because it just kind of has that feel of a Knights of Cydonia, but like smaller, more compact, and actually with more words, because there's more words in this song.
Yeah.
But like, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I enjoyed this one more than the last one. For me, it's a 4.25. It's quite enjoyable, but it lacks a little bit of distinction in terms of like standing outness. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, lyrically, it's cool. War is overdue. The time has come for you to shoot your leaders down, join forces underground. Maybe this is the direction from the last song. Maybe the last song was to prime you into believing you were capable of overthrowing your own government so that in this song, they could, because you're invincible. Tonight, we are invincible. We can all go ahead and overthrow the government. I mean, and then in this song, he comes in right away with this like subject matter. And I just kind of, I'm stretching here. I just came up with that on the spot.
Like, because that's kind of always their thing. Like, that, as much as they have a lot of different things they'll talk about, a lot of what they talk about is like, stand up, revolution, or I'm so in love with you and you fucked over. You know what I mean? Like, it's either love songs or it's...
I don't know that.
This. Like, it's...
somebody's going to point out, like, all the specific instances that it is not that case.
Fine, do that, because I'm generalizing.
Yeah. Yeah, lose control and increasing pace, warped and bewitched to the time to erase whatever they say. These people are torn, wild and bereft, assassin is born. Yeah, oppose and disagree, destroy democracy. I mean, I do feel the oppose and disagree, destroy democracy thing. Like, I don't know, is that what they're trying to promote? I don't remember if that was a satirical line from the perspective of the government.
I don't know. I think like Muse is a band that at the end of the day, again, they're about the package, they're about the performance, they're about the over the top theatricality of it all.
I feel like
I think that they would very much like to overthrow the system, but I don't think that.
But I feel like they want, like, their lyrics are meant to be like genuine and sincere.
Sure.
It doesn't feel like super fake. The last song felt kind of aimless, but this one, like, it feels like they
feel a little more fake to me than most, and it's not a bad thing, right? Because this is
I
the
feel
band. Like
you know, like how when you copyright and you have to like write it at a certain general age level of like grade 8 or whatever, so that everybody who comes to your website can kind of appreciate the message of what you're saying. I feel like Muse applies that same tactic to the subject matter. They kind of make it more broad and approachable.
that's like I think their message is secondary to the sound and to the experience.
Okay.
And that's generally how they approach their songwriting. Like it's more about the intricacies of the music than it is about the message being conveyed through it. And I think that they really do feel the need to use their platform to give a message, but I don't think that it's at the forefront enough for them to really be specifically calling people out and specifically calling out problems. You know what I mean?
But I also think that if they did, it would kind of then go and be everyone else who does. I feel like they've managed to find this happy middle ground of like...
And that's why they're more popular generally
Yeah.
than people who do, because it's more about the package than it is about...
But I also feel like Muse almost did it more deliberately, as opposed like they knew from the beginning this is what they were kind of going for. And maybe I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And like they felt like because I can see the value in being in that position where you are implanting the ideas that can lead people to more real shit. And they're kind of like a gateway drug to revolution.
Which is fair.
You
I
go
see
from
that.
like Muse to Rage, you know, like maybe not so directly, but like you can see how like you could maybe use that like flow of ideas.
But I see Muse as more of a band that like is going to inspire a young keyboardist to like become a prodigy and like really focus on his instrumentation than they are going to inspire.
It's funny
a young
because like
group of the revolutionaries.
I fucking love Uprising. That shit inspires me to be a young. That I know it's not even on this album.
Yeah,
but like
then the Resistance, right? Love is our resistance.
I don't know this song. Don't know it.
That's the title track on that record you're
But
talking
I
about.
don't know it. I just know that one song. So I'll listen to it and then we'll have that conversation and I can participate.
Sure.
But
it's very much, it's the same kind of record. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like, it's very inconsistent in terms of messaging.
I mean, I feel like they're just like to this song where, yeah, I guess you're right, a little inconsistent, but like it's mostly like fuck the system with a bit of you're strong and believe in yourself I guess it's everything you said it was.
And a little bit of love and heartbreak and
Yeah.
it's
I mean,
everything that a mainstream rock record should be, but musically it's much more intricate. But
song, so like structurally it's cool.
everything is turned up to 100, right? Like everything is always the show, the performance. Even on Soldier's Poem, where it's like really downplayed and really minimal, it's still the show and the performance, right? Like it's
fine.
I like it. This song is a 4.3 for me. Like I love the intro and I love the urgency in the music. But it doesn't quite, there's no real like hook that's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna remember that. You know what I mean?
That is definitely true. So let's talk about Exo-Politics.
Let's do it.
So like Zetas are the little gray aliens from like Area 51 and shit. Like that
Okay.
specific type of alien, I think, is what I read. And then, yeah, it's an interesting one.
I feel like they might be conspiracy nuts too, a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I felt here, but no, I'm okay with that too. Like, I'm not against that. There's some conspiracy stuff that's fucking fascinating, but I like because this whole album is kind of spacey and science fiction-y, so it's kind of cool to imagine what happens when the aliens of this whole thing come back into this situation. Open the skies above me. I'm waiting patiently as conspiracies unwind. Will you slam shut or free your mind or stay hypnotized? you know, like how you're gonna approach this world of fucking confusing media and shit. If I'm wrong, I'm guessing a little bit on my interpretations here. You can correct me in the comments. Yeah, like when the Zetas fill the skies, will our leaders tell us why? Some fully loaded satellites will conquer nothing but our minds. So here it's like, oh, if the aliens do come and all of this, so it's obviously like the government would have probably known ahead of time. And what kind of bullshit will they tell us? What kind of propaganda stories? Like when Flint, Michigan has some water situations, what do the government officials say about the actual numbers of health and safety and shit versus what's actually happening out there? You should check that out. It's a little bit fucked up.
Whoa, man.
And, like, you know, the satellites are probably a bit less educated on how satellites work back then. So, you know, you just picture these space waves and people taking control of our situations and whatnot. I don't know. It's an interesting track about, like, how the government kind of misuses the information flow and lies to us and isn't necessarily being so upforth and truthful. So if something so drastic and crazy as all of these aliens that we've allegedly known about forever actually come back to us, is the government going to fess up and say, yeah, we knew about them? You know, like, are they actually going to do that? Or are they going to pretend like, oh, no, we didn't know, even though, you know, I think it's Roswell? Is it
Roswell is a place where aliens are supposed to have landed, yes.
So, yeah, like the whole Roswell thing, we know about it. So, therefore, oh, what do we, you know, you guys get what I'm trying to fucking say. So, I give it a 4.25 because it's a fucking cool and interesting experience. And I like it. Like, it's, again, on that groove of, I kind of like this shit. I could see I'm maybe in the right mood. I'm loving it. In this mood, I'm at 4.25ing it.
I gave this one a little bit of a higher grade. And again, with Muse, most of the time I really don't care what they're singing. I'll be honest with you, because they're always just super over the top, and I can't take it seriously. Like, I'm laughing at every song as I'm enjoying it, but I really like the groove on this one, and this is something that I can go back to a lot. And I like it a lot more than like a few of the songs that have come before this. So I'm gonna drop a 4.5 on this one. Like, it's not my favorite song on the record. It's not Supermassive Black Hole, but it's which I fucking love. But it's like it's a nice groove, and it's got a nice big chorus, and it does what it does very well. So that's how I feel about it.
How often do you go, it's not Supermassive Black Hole in
It's
like
not
regular
fucking
conversation?
Supermassive Black Hole.
Anyway, but it could be a city of delusion. To me, this is equally as good as the last two songs I've heard, and I'm like at another 4.25. Like, I can't say I like any of them more or less than any of the other ones. It's like this little part of the album here is so consistently solid.
You know what? I'm a sucker for guitar scratches.
Okay.
Fast guitar scratches. It's a very punk rock thing to do, that you know what I mean?
Right.
And there's a lot of that going on in this track. And what's cool about this track is that there's like a lot of different styles that shouldn't work together. There's like Middle Eastern sounds going through the strings on this track, and there's like heavy rock, and there's like folk rock. Like it and it's kind of separated by those guitar scratches, but it all works really well. Like it's really dancey and upbeat, but at the same time it's really epic and grandiose, and like I give this one a 4.7.
Okay.
And we're starting to get out of what I call the lull in the middle of the record.
Right. I mean, this one definitely has some life to it, but
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I still like it as much as the last one. I don't like
Which
it
is
more.
fair.
I mean, lyrically, it's fine. Like, stay away from me, build a fortress and shield your beliefs, touch the divine, and we all fall in line. Can I believe when I don't trust? All our theories turn to dust. I choose to hide from the all-seeing eye. Destroy this. You're like, okay. So if you consider the last one, the last song kind of had a little bit of a tale of how the government tells us lies and blah, blah, blah. And then this one, it's like, break free of the cage of enlightenment, or the opposite of that, whichever one makes more sense. I'm like, fucking get woke, hashtag woke.
Yeah.
I'm like, be ready to like handle the situation because they've all been lying to you and everything's fucked up. Do not deny that you live and let die. You know, like you won't rest.
Live and let die.
You will not rest or settle for less until you guzzle and squander what's left. It's like, okay, like look, it's not like any of this is really bad or anything. It's just
cheesy.
like they had some really great shit on a few of these songs lyrically where I feel like spot on awesome. This is a little bit on the cheesier side where it's like I get what they're doing and I can see how the right group of people really need to be introduced to the message in this way. There again, this is a gateway drug to these emotions type song, in my opinion. And that's cool. I think the world needs it. Like, this is like some rebellion shit you can show a 6-year-old. So it's fucking cool.
That's fair. But again, it's super over the top, right? It's super, super grandiose and super theatrical. But
Yeah, it's fine.
this one sounds just a little more honest to me, I think.
Okay.
And so it's a little livelier. The rhythm is a little more upbeat, and yeah.
Well, let's talk about Hoodoo. I don't know if I got this song. And I have to preface this by stating I saw something fucking interesting about this song. According to Q Magazine, I don't know what that is, but in 2000, I got that. It's called Q. But in 2009, this song was voted Lyric of the Decade. I know, but that means a lot of people voted for this song.
What's the lyric?
All of it, the song, like it's the best set of lyrics of the decade.
Rock music or like
of all of it. And that's
so hard to believe.
So the fact that so many people believe that make me wonder if I'm just not getting something. And you can let me know if you agree with that assessment, and I would love to hear your breakdown of why.
Was Jared Way like Cancer is the saddest song ever written?
Yeah, he also said that. But this is the people deciding that, not Muse deciding that, right?
This is the readers of Q Magazine. This is not the people.
But that's still...
This is some people.
But some people...
And probably presented with a very...
I don't know shit all about that. But here's what I can tell you. This song goes, come into my life, regress into a dream. We will hide and build a new reality. Okay. So this person or this entity enters into his life, and so it kind of creates this ethereal, dreamlike state of existence. I'm going to do this, okay, just because lyrics of the decade. I'm like, we're going to hide and build a new reality. So I guess this is like when you meet a new chick and y'all like sneak off and have your little sexcapades for a couple hours because it's new and exciting and it's fucking crazy. Or emotional escape, or you do sappy shit, or you cuddle. I don't fucking care. You can fill in the blank with whatever one you think is nicest. Draw another picture of a life you could have had, follow your instincts, and choose another path. Okay, so I guess you're with this person, and you're picturing a better version of your life and who you could be with or whatever, and so you follow your instincts and choose another path. I mean, like, what? What does that mean exactly? Like, so you're with this person who you've met, and you've regressed into a dream. So you're in this ethereal escapist mentality all the way over here, and you conceive this brand new fucking idea out of nowhere, right? And then you proceed to go, that's where we're going to go, let's do it. That's just what I've surmised from that first part. You should never be afraid. You're protected from trouble and pain. Why is this a crisis in your eyes again? Okay. So I guess as you're on this new path, things are fucked up or something. But like you're with this person in this bubble, so everything's kind of still okay. But there's like a real crisis existing in your life because you're probably doing stupid things. So now let's say you're doing drugs with this person or something, just to like add to the story of how I'm picturing it, right? Sure. And so in that universe, you feel like you're doing everything good, but it's really turbulent. Okay. Come to be. How did it come to be? Tied to a railroad. No love set us free. Okay, so now you're at like this catalyst point and everything's fucked up. Watch our souls fade away and our bodies crumbling. Don't be afraid. I will take the blow for you. So bad things are about to happen because let's say there was a drug bust and she had set it up and it was all her fault. And now you're like being noble and you're going to go and do time for her. Did someone else say that
there were drugs involved in this, or you're just like bringing drugs in?
Literally, I'm just doing like, I'm pretending like this is a reaction. This is off the fucking top with almost no thought put into it. So if I'm really wrong, there's my confession. I did not think that hard on it. I was just kind of like, I'm trying to really look for what is making these lyrics of the decade. And it said blow, so drugs popped into my head. But that blow does not mean cocaine. That blow meant like, I'm going to jump on a grenade for you and put my hand on a blade for you type shit. And Those
are some good lyrics.
And I've had recurring nightmares.
Fucking Mars, man.
And then I guess...
Still the shit musically.
And then
Maybe
I guess...
not lyrically so much.
Yeah. Okay. So then the last part is, and I've had recurring nightmares that I was loved for who I am and missed the opportunity to be a better man. So then I guess he's thinking back to like the beginning before that whole little adventure happened and realized the downfall he came because people back then liked him for who he was before he sold out or whatever.
It's actually pretty profound because it's like, because on the other hand, it could be like if I had fallen in love, right? And had someone accept me for who I was, but I was a piece of shit, I wouldn't have pushed myself to become better.
Right.
right? So there's that level of like you can take two paths and they're both gonna suck.
Of the decade, like
I'm not talking about lyrics. I don't care.
my
about
point
Q
is,
Magazine.
look, this is good. I'm not gonna lie. Well, after doing this little reaction bit, maybe I should have done it before the camera. I'm admitting it's high up there. It's 4.25 on 5 quality with the whole package of the song and everything, because the song is really cool Spanish guitar-y stuff at the beginning, and
Yeah.
it's different. It's soft as fuck. It builds up. It has this little theater dramatic kind of moment at the end of the song. And lyrically, it's cool. It's one of the, I'd say it's the best written, poetically speaking song on this album.
Okay.
But like
I don't care what Q Magazine
most
says
of
about it. I'm not
Eminem's
gonna-
best work came out this decade.
Yeah, but some of his worst work came out this decade too.
But you have to consider of the decade. Like 99 Problems came out this year. Like I'm just like, there's so many great lyrical expressions that came out in
But
that
I
era.
don't care what the readers of Q Magazine voted lyrics of the decade. Like that's not gonna.
I know.
I'm not gonna lose sleep
It's just-
over that. Like
For me, it was just the most like I
look,
know.
Lord of the Rings, Return of
know.
the King won 11 Oscars.
It's a great movie.
It's a fine movie. It ends 11 times, so it won an Oscar for every time that it ends.
It's awesome.
So great.
It was one of my favorite parts of being in the theater watching that movie end. It was just like you never knew if it was really over. It was kind
I
of
had
cool.
to go to the bathroom.
So 4.25 on this song because as much as it's really like amazingly written as a song, musically I find it kind of lame.
Yeah, musically it's pretty lame. I mean, again, it's like it's cool, but it starts off with this like really promising, like really Latin influenced kind of guitar run. And then it just turns into like the soundtrack to like a depressing French movie. And it's like, and that's like, Muse does that a lot. You know what I mean? Like they sound like the soundtrack to a melodramatic foreign film that's black and white, and people aren't talking a lot. You know what I mean? It's called Le
Hoodoo.
I don't give a fuck. My only real exposure to the word hoodoo is Supernatural.
I know there's
Still watching.
Big
Season 14
Hoodoo
coming up,
is a
motherfuckers.
rapper signed to
It's
Psychopathic.
like black magic, like
No, but Big Hoodoo's a rapper signed to Psychopathic Records.
sure. But hoodoo is like black magic, or maybe it's not black magic.
It's
To
just
those of you
magic-y.
Wiccans who practice it, I'm sorry.
Anyway,
Yeah, 4.1-ish.
well, no one's gonna take me alive because
This
the
Knights
Knights
of
of
Cydonia.
Cydonia.
You happy?
One of the guys at Muse said this song is supposed
Muse.
is supposed to be the history of rock in one song. That is how they did the guy in Muse described it.
I can
And
see that.
this is my favorite song on the record, like on the whole album. This is pretty next level. Like I remember when I first heard this song, I knew this song was special. Like
Yeah.
it made me remember who Muse was forever. Like I
Yeah.
might not have cared a lot after, but like I kind of knew that this was amazing. What I didn't realize is how fucking few words are in this amazing song.
Oh yeah, there's one verse and then it's just the fucking chorus repeated over and over and over again ad nauseum.
And like, I'm pretty sure the radio version was simplified because I don't remember this crazy ass, amazing, beautiful intro that makes this song that much fucking awesome.
Yeah,
Because it's like,
this is one of those songs that suffered from a shortened radio release.
'Cause
That
it's
was
like-
actually going to be one of my comments because that pissed me off a lot.
2 to 3 minutes of like awesome.
Yeah, this song is fucking great.
And then, you know, come ride with me through the veins of history. I'll show you a God who falls asleep on the job. I like God, but I can understand where you're coming from. It's pretty fucking good. It's basically going, oh, if God cares about us all, let's go through, an entire humanity of fucking desolation for the 7,000 years of recorded history we have. Tell me how your God works. I'd have that conversation with you at another point, but we'll just stick with the Muse interpretation for now.
Show me a god.
And how can we win? How can we
Little
win?
Tech
When,
9 for you.
how can we win when fools can be kings? Don't waste your time or time will waste you. It's pretty straight up. You got a guy like Trump in office. I mean, my opinion is it's a very surprising choice that Trump is the leader of the North American free world.
He may not be for very much longer.
I'm not really, whatever. I'm not interested in that distraction. I'm whatever. I'm Canadian. I actually kind of care more about what's going on with Trudeau in the upcoming elections in both Quebec and Canada. And don't waste your time or time will waste you. It's like, okay, an interesting point, right? Because if you do let your life just kind of passively go and you waste it, you know, it's all real shit right there. It's probably in those 4 lines, some of the most profound shit they've said on the entire project of like, I can't criticize it. I can stand behind. I mean, I don't agree on the God part, but I can get where the fuck they're coming from and I can't criticize it. And then, you know, no one's going to take me alive. The time has come to make things right. You and I must fight for our rights. You and I must fight to survive. I mean, it's just epic. And you just picture, because they got like horses and shit galloping, right? Because this is supposed to like kind of be inspired by like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, which is kind of like, they're like negative things. They're not positive things, if I'm not mistaken.
The apocalypse? Yeah.
No, the 4 horsemen
negative.
of the apocalypse. I'm pretty sure that those are like negative figures in the story.
Death, famine,
Is that what they're?
war, and pestilence.
Fair. I mean, I'm just trying to think of Revelations. I don't know if that's...
Death, famine.
Fine.
You're really religious, dude.
Yeah, last time I actually opened it up and read Revelations is a fucking long time ago.
Revelations is the coolest one.
Metal music quotes it a lot more than I've listened.
Fucking 4 Horsemen, Metallica.
Yeah. But
One of their best songs. Rock the fuck on.
That's fair. So
They don't actually. Oh yeah, they do. Wow. I've been listening to that song for years and I just realized that Metallica says the names of the 4 Horsemen in that song.
I just never realized because I don't even remember that song because I didn't listen to a lot of old Metallica.
Pestilence for what you have to endure and what you have put others through.
Okay, there's some music.
Death, deliverance for you for sure.
Either way, I think this song is an epic fucking endeavor of like.
Is that Creeping Death? That's Creeping Death. That's not even the 4 Horsemen.
Okay.
Anyway, Muse.
So
Sorry,
you're way
5
distracted.
on 5.
I mean, this one to me is also a 5-on-5, but like, it's just this journey. It's like this is everything all the other songs tried to do, but done flawlessly, in my opinion. Like, this is a 6-minute experience that I wish was 12 minutes, and I rarely feel like that. But they could have just kept this one running, repeating that hook, and I just want to be in the crowd singing along for like 10 minutes straight. Okay, that's how I'd spend money to go see Muse to sing along to that chorus, even if I didn't care about the rest of the show.
No one's gonna take
Like, it's
me
just that fucking
alive.
cool. It's like singing Die for the Government with Anti-Flag. It's just as cool as that. And so it's a 5-on-5. This hits me in all the right ways, and I think it's the best example of that sound they were trying to go for on this album.
Yeah, I mean, I also remember the first time I heard this song, and I already liked Muse because of Hysteria and Stockholm Syndrome from Absolution. Like, I hadn't heard the records yet, but I really liked those 2 songs. Like, those were the radio singles that came out. And,
Right.
But those were, again, much more serious and much more, like, heavy and dark. And then this song came out, and this is just so much fun. Like, yeah, it's got a little bit of edge to it. It's a little dark, but it's real. Again, it's super over the top, super grandiose, but, like, in all the best ways.
It's fucking cool.
Yeah, and the music video for this I also remember.
Can't remember
Great.
it.
It's like a cowboy movie
Don't think
on
I
Mars with like
I,
laser guns.
neglected to watch the music videos for this project.
You want some sci-fi goodness? Watch the music video for this song.
Fair enough.
It takes place on Mars, Knights of Cydonia, and it's like cowboys and Indians and fucking
Right.
great shit.
Cydonia. Right. I didn't know what that was until like this week either. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like, whoa. Anyway. So this is supposed to be the end of the album if you bought the disc, apparently, unless you was in Japan, because I'm curious to know why Japan always gets fucking more songs. But now the Spotify version has the Japanese version, which ends on the song "Glorious," not "Knights of Cydonia." In fact, the song starts with 33 overdubbed guitars, and it ends playing random notes, and that is how the song starts and ends for this one. Fun fact, like I said, Japanese version. And it got me thinking, when you go look at these album lists, it's always the Japanese version that gets all these fucking bonus songs. So it's like the Japanese folk just get the same album plus more for like, do they cost more in Japan? Like, I don't know how this came to be. I was thinking about this just as we were recording this, and I just wanted to know, if any of you guys know, it would be really cool. But so yeah, if you didn't know, that's now you know. So Glorious is fine. I feel like it's back to that 4.25. It's that like the whole end of the project, on the exception of Knights of Cydonia, kind of felt very similar to me in terms of equal quality of like and dislike and all of that. This is really cool. I'm happy Knights of Cydonia is the real album closer because that's a fucking banger. But then this came on, and like next to it, like, I guess had it come right before, I'd feel maybe differently, but I'd still give it a 4.25. It's like right there, like rose-tinted view and satellites that compromise the truth, but I want them more with the cuts and bruises, touch my face, hopeless embrace. Same type of shit. I don't even really want to go through the rest of the lyrics. There's nothing nothing that really adds to the conversation. I can see how this wasn't on the album official, and as a bonus track, it is one of the nicer choices for a bonus track. I'm happy they didn't throw on like 3 or 4 extra songs that would have just like killed it. This is just like a nice little extra song if you're already feeling this project. And as a result, it got that 4.25. It's better. Like I would have cut maybe something else off the album and put this on instead. Like for me, Soldier's Poem I could live without, but I
love Soldier's Poem, but I would have cut Map of the Problematique.
Maybe. But like I could see how like but that's the thing is I could see how almost any song could be removed and this one could be added and it would probably be of equal value to the project for the most part. So yeah.
I mean the thing is too, like this is a little heavier than some of the other songs on the album. And I think it doesn't quite fit sonically. Maybe it's just like because it's a bonus track, because it's not on the real cut of the album, like the production isn't quite there. Right. The same way it is on some of the other tracks. Like this sounds like something that could have been on like Origin of Symmetry. It's a little more raw, right? I like the riff. I do. But again, Knights of Cydonia is such a great closer that there's no point after it. Like you had your grand finale, like that was your pièce de résistance, like.
But yeah, you don't need it, but it's
fun.
Not bad.
It's a fun song. It's a 4.2 or a 4.3. Like it's thereabouts.
Like let us know if you feel this should have been on the project. You might feel like this is a little dismissive of us, but like that's kind of how I felt when I got to Glorious. Like this is kind of just here, you know? Like like it's good here. It's not a bad here. I'm not disappointed that I had to listen to this, but like I don't feel like it's enthralling.
But I mean, like talking about the record as a whole, right? Like that's how I feel about a lot of the songs, and the reason I love this record so much really boils down to 4 songs.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the first 3 and the last one are some of the best songs I've ever heard. They're some of my favorite songs.
Right.
But everything in between is kind of there, and like it works, and some of it is really cool. I love the experiments, and that's how I feel about Muse in general. They have some really, really timeless pieces of music. And then they have a lot of shit that's way too over the top.
I feel like they're a band whose greatest hits album is Next Level.
Yeah, like their greatest hits album is like, I listen to that for days.
I get where you're coming from. I mean, I give this a 4.29. From like a musicianship, from like actual compositional, structural point of view, it is pretty top notch. And I don't want to have anyone feel like I don't recognize how talented the band is, because I do. I really admire what they're capable of. And like, let's say for like, I feel like Imagine Dragons wants to be a little bit like what they are in terms of how they polish and stuff.
I listened to an Imagine Dragons album the other day, and it is nowhere near as fulfilling as a Muse album.
No, I meant like with the polish and the over the top, and
but without the experimentation.
But that's what I'm saying. Like it's what they want to be, but
there's not really anything progressive going on in Imagine Dragons.
I just listened to the last Imagine Dragons album, and it gave me a similar kind of, from an engineering and effects point of view, the same kind of like grandioseness.
Fair enough.
Maybe I'm wrong on my comparison. Sometimes it's just what I happen to draw the parallel with. I get that maybe you guys don't agree with me. That's fine.
Imagine Dragons feels like they're trying to be a little bit more like Coldplay.
I don't know enough Coldplay. I just meant from like the grandioseness of it, like when I picture like entire theater productions in my head listening to music, I got that effect from the last Imagine Dragons album.
Okay. That's fair. And
that's kind of my comparison point. But like Muse does it significantly more fun, better, and like cooler. And like I feel like the messaging on this album, I don't hate it. I mean, there's parts of it where I shout on it a little bit, but like still, I'd rather listen to this than say the last 3 Days Grace album, which was just fucking trash in my head.
No contest.
Because that was just like emotionally manipulative drivel, whereas this is trying to be like inspiring and proactive.
Yeah. I mean, I gave this a 0.1 higher than you. It's a 4.3 for me.
Fair.
Because, I mean, there's a lot of really cool stuff. Some of the songs, like, start out a little boring and then get really cool. Some of them start out really cool and then get kind of weird. But there's a lot of experimentation. I respect that. But it's just, some of it is just so over the top. And that's been very, very descriptive of Muse's entire career, which is just they go too far sometimes with the theatricality, and they forget to just kind of let the song breathe and be a song. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see how that works. I mean, I think it's like, to them, that's the point.
Yeah, I get it.
And I can see that. Anyway, That's it. Thank y'all for watching. It's super dope that y'all would like really stick it through and watch this whole thing with us. If you did, and if you just skipped to the end, you're still fucking awesome. Just want to give a special thanks to Mozart, Lindell Williams, and Super Old School 1994, our patrons. They support us more directly. If you do that, you get access to the request raffle where you can see what you want to see covered maybe a little quicker. And if more of you sign up, we'll increase that to make it a more valuable proposition. If you don't want to do that, you can hit that subscribe and like and show some love. That would be super cool. Woot! I know how awful this sounds. I hate saying this every podcast, but, well, it seems like you have to these days in YouTube. So, yeah.
You gotta give a call to action, man. Come on.
Come on. It's just marketing 101.
Give us a little subscribing, a little liking, and a
but
little
more importantly, though, is that comment. I really care what you have to say. The rest of it's fluff. But, like, I mean, if you want to give us Patreon money, that's cool. But, like, for real, the comment part, like, that's... to me, really, I've learned so much out of the comment section. I feel like it's almost made me slightly better like of a person because people call me on my shit quicker on YouTube. If I'm like an asshole, like a real asshole, they will tell me. I've had people be like, fire that guy. I'm like, dude, it's my channel. But like, get rid of him. I'm like, just because of like how my, so I feel like y'all keep me in check and you force me to try harder. And if I say anything particularly stupid, you really make sure that I grow. So thank you. And you teach me so much interesting factoid type shit. So thanks, YouTube people watching this. And if you're on another platform, because we've gotten there, you too. Okay, bye.